welcome to Your Mac Life for Wednesday, October 30th, Halloween Eve. Halloween Eve. It's Halloween Eve.
Oh.
I didn't even know.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're almost there. Yeah.
I completely forgot about Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have any Halloween themes. Okay. All right. Here we go. Boom.
You scared me.
That was.
So it's Halloween. Good.
That was your Halloween. The other voice you hear is the lovely and hopefully talented Alessandra.
Hi. Ciao, ciao a tutti.
Come va?
Come va? Wow, you're learning. You say so well. Wow.
I try. One does one's best with what little one has. For those folks who are just tuning in, thank you guys very much for being here. We apologize for the screw-up last week. The software that we were using to broadcast the show isn't Mavericks compatible, and because yours truly is a moron, I updated a Mavericks before checking on that. So this is all my fault. But we're using Google Hangouts now along with YouTube. So if you'd like, you can check us out on the website, yourmaclifeshow.com/live. Although, as I say that, you're probably already listening, most likely. So, but if you folks who are tuning to the archive, you want to watch live, listen live, that's how you can do it. We've got a good show for you guys after a couple of weeks of, you know what, below average shows, just below par. Kidding, they were fine. Jim Dalrymple from The Loop at loopinsight.com is going to be joining us. He's going to be talking about his iPad Air review. He's had it since last Tuesday's, a week ago Tuesday's Apple announcement. We're going to get his opinion about that. He's written it up over at loopinsight.com, so you can check it out there if you so choose. We're also going to be talking to Seymour Segnit. Seymour is the inventor of the thingCharger. Go to Indiegogo.com and you can check out the thingCharger. Do a search for thingCharger. Really neat device. And I say this as someone who hates Indiegogo and Kickstarter campaigns. So if I hate them that much and I'm letting him be on the show, it means I think it's a pretty cool product. Now, I haven't tried one. I don't have one in hand. That's one of the problems of Indiegogo and Kickstarter. There's no such thing as real devices until they reach their campaign goals. So, but Seymour's going to have some stuff on video to show off. We're also going to have a comparation. Our very own Sig, cute Italian girl, is going to have a comparation. Explain to the audience what a comparation is.
Comparation means you have two objects that are similar and you compare them to each other to see which one is better. And I think mine is. You can't. See, what you've done is you've just pre-hyped the audience. Sorry.
You told the audience which they should favor.
Because
they like you better than me.
I'm really sure about it. It's awesome. It's one of the favorite objects I have in my days. So
really?
I really like it.
Wow. All right. So that's what we're going to do. A comparison between the TwelveSouth BookBook for the iPhone and the Pad and Quill. This is the little black book, or the little luxury book for the iPhone. Both really good products, I've got to tell you.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll have that later on the show. You were very happy to give away your prizes last week, weren't you?
Oh, yeah. It was awesome.
Finally,
I was able to do it, so I prepared all my little package, and I used an orange Halloween bow to decorate the present. Yes.
Now,
and I sent it.
Remind us, where did you send it to?
I sent it to Dave in England.
England, yeah.
Yeah, I had the address, so I prepared my box with all my care. And
so, see, Dave, that cost a small fortune.
Oh, yeah. All my savings are gone.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's
so he better
my
appreciate
first present, so it was worth it.
He better appreciate the fact that you spent all that money to send that thing all the way across the pond. And we still haven't sent out, but I will, 3 other winners of the Hard Candy Slider cases. Thanks very much to the folks at hardcandycases.com. I appreciate you guys letting us give that stuff away. It's very, very kind of you. What else we got going on the show? As always, we encourage you guys to join us at the IRC. Thanks to the nice folks at irc.chat-solutions.org. We're in the Pound Your Mac Life channel. The email address for the show, as always, on air at yourmaclifeshow.com. And we always encourage you, beg you, plead, please, go to our website, yourmaclifeshow.com, on the left-hand side there. You can subscribe to Your Mac Life. You can send us $2, $5, $10, $15 a month, whatever you so choose, as a donation or subscription to your Mac Life, and it comes out of your major credit card or your PayPal account, zooms its way electronically into my PayPal account, and we use it to buy things like MacBook Airs and iPad Air, because I'm going to go get my iPad Air on Friday.
Oh, really?
I have to.
Oh.
Well, and I can justify it if only because I've still got the original iPad, the first iPad, one of the first sold in Portland, Oregon. For those folks who have been long-time listeners, you know I was in Portland for the launch of the original iPad, and Ian Schrey and Bill Reynolds and Gene McDonald and Michelle McDowell, a bunch of folks were down there and got the iPad. And it's done me in good stead. It's been a great machine. I'm still using it every day. I still use it to read my Pocket stuff. I still use it to read Kindle apps. I still do use it for Twitter and that kind of stuff. But it's time. The thing, it's noticeably slowing down. It's noticeably not as robust as it used to be. It's not worth anything either. Gazelle, I think, offered me $75 for it, even though it's in very good condition. So I think this is the time to get the iPad Air, and this is an iPad worthy of lust, as I like to think about it. It wasn't the previous versions. I wasn't just hopped up to get, but this one is the A7 chip, the better camera or a camera. The original iPad didn't have a camera at all. The better camera, the more power in general of it, I think, is worthy. And as you saw, if you've been following the interwebs at all today, last night Apple's embargoes were up at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. So all the usual suspects, David Pogue and Ed Begg and Walt Mossberg and Jim Dalrymple, and all those guys got their reviews up, and the reviews are overwhelmingly positive, which, not hard to predict that, not hard to say that was going to be the case regardless. You still don't want an iPad Air, do you?
I don't need it.
What do you mean you don't need it? That's not about need.
Oh, no, it's not that. Oh, okay. Oh, so it's just to buy new stuff that has been produced. So if they invent new products every week, you have to buy them all just because they are available.
Why do I let you on the show with that kind of attitude?
I'm so sorry.
We went in, this was amazing. We went in last Thursday to the Apple Store in Guilford Mall.
Oh, yeah.
Angela, the manager there, Chris, one of the geniuses, the staff there are really, really good, really nice. Big store, a fairly large store. So I had a problem with my Bluetooth mouse. Its preferences wouldn't show up on this MacBook Pro as a Bluetooth mouse. I couldn't get any gestures going. So Chris, the genius, befuddled him too. Eventually we figured out a solution. I haven't tried the solution. So next thing was I wanted to return the Mac Mini and get this 13-inch MacBook Pro. As I'm doing it, I could feel it. Guys, you know this feeling. When your significant other is disapproving of the thing you do, when your significant other is sitting next to you with that look on her face of, I'm so bored. I look over, and you were giving me a look. Oh, my goodness. I was like, did I poop in your purse? Because you seem awfully upset at me. How could you be bored in an Apple store?
No, I was not bored. It's just that all the guys working at the Apple Store were coming to me and asking me, is it true that you still have an Acer computer at home? How can you do that? That was the thing you were telling everybody.
Well, yeah, I couldn't believe that. We talked about this on last week's show. That you've got, there's the only way I want to describe it, you've got a crappy old laptop.
But I just needed to check my mail. That's it.
But wouldn't you want to do more things on it than check mail?
I don't have time. I'm busy.
You don't have a job!
But I'm looking for a job, so I'm busy with that.
But wouldn't it be easier to look for a job if you had a better computer, one that was faster?
If it could help finding a good job, yes, but I don't think so.
So yeah, I was just sitting there, and I could not believe that I had brought into my local Apple store someone who would get bored in an Apple store. It was humiliating. I mean, they were looking at me like, dude, why'd you bring her?
You even took a picture of my bored face, but please don't show it.
Yeah, I did. I took a picture, and you were just Just.
You were so surprised. I was bored there, but.
I don't know. I just don't know what to do. You don't want a new laptop. You have no interest in the iPad Air.
Well, if you're buying all these new products and they are around, I will eventually use them.
Will you?
Oh, yeah.
Promise?
I like to try new stuff. So I promise. And
well,
then we can do a comparison with your new stuff and my old stuff.
Okay, so now here's a question. The MacBook Air goes on sale this Friday at 8 a.m.
Oh.
The lineups will start at about 4 a.m.
Oh.
What time do you want to go to the store?
Oh, well, we need to go early then. So let's just go the evening before and stay there.
Wait, what?
You want to be the first one there?
Oh, hell no. No, I don't want everyone to be the first one there. Because the first guy there is a loser. Okay? I'm sorry. I can't. I'm sorry.
Oh, really?
The first guy in line, for whatever period of time that you are the first guy in line and standing there by yourself, that time frame, you're a loser.
But you have the feeling you will be the first one. It's such a big feeling.
Yeah,
so great.
But if you're standing there by yourself, if it's a half an hour, you're a loser for half an hour. If it's 2 hours, you're a loser for 2 hours.
I don't think so. You will be the first one to get the first products in. Absolutely. No, it's awesome. I want to be the first one. I will wait for you there.
Okay, fine. So you'll go to the Apple Store.
And you take the bus at 9 and you will see.
You hold my place in line. And that way...
Oh, really? Yeah, so you want me to do that? So I'm not a loser if I hold your place.
No, you're still a loser.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, you'll still completely be a loser.
And you want help from a loser?
Yeah. I have no problem taking assistance from losers.
As long as I have chocolate with me, I can wait 4 hours. I don't care.
So fill you full of chocolate and you'll be okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm trying to figure out how in Google Hangouts to get Jim Dalrymple on the line. I don't see Jim, but I only see one. I see Brian Monroe. I see Maurice, and I see Sherry Keller in. Oh, there's Jim Dalrymple. There he is on this call. So let's bring Jim on the call right away. Let's see if Jimbo, Mr. Dalrymple, can you hear me? Jim. Oh, man. There he is. Look at that handsome smiley face. Jim. So I can't tell if you're screwing with me or you can actually see me. Jim. See, that's the problem with Dalrymple. All right, let's try this again.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, you just burped.
Hello.
Jim, turn your microphone on.
Hello.
Your microphone's probably muted. I think he burped again. I can't tell what Jim's doing.
Hello.
Jim, can you hear me?
Yeah.
If you can hear me, nod your head. Okay, so you have to turn your microphone on, Jim, so we can hear, or actually say something, because you haven't said a word.
I've been talking. Oh,
you've been talking, so we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I don't know if the audience can the audience hear Jim? Hang on, Jim. Yeah, we can hear him and see him. All right, fine. Sorry about that, man.
Jeez.
I had my volume turned down. It was my fault.
Oh my God!
Jim, you haven't had a chance to do this. Say hello to Alessandra.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. He drives me crazy.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
It's just ridiculous, isn't it? Just a complete moron. Hey, I haven't had a chance to talk to you in about 3 weeks. How you been, man?
I've been good. You know what I was just watching?
What?
That crazy-ass woman from New York Times, the interview they did with her on CNN.
Oh, that idiot who said that Apple was busting your iPhone on purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
They interviewed her on CNN, and they called her out and said, isn't it just that it's old?
And what was her response?
Oh, well, could be.
Oh, Jesus. That's the kind of article that should never have made it in the New York Times. Hell, that's barely good enough for a cult of Mac. There's no way that idiotic article should have ever made the New York freaking Times.
No.
They've been embarrassing themselves left, right, and center, I think, over the last 6 months to a year. Nick Bilton is another moron who our Apple's presentation is boring. Well, no, they're consistent, you fat ass.
Nick's not as bad as this girl.
No. I'll give Nick that. He's not as bad. But yeah, I saw the headline this morning and thought, what moron of Gizmodo did this? And then Gizmodo had to correct her.
Yeah.
That's the worst part.
Yeah, what kind of crazy world is this now?
What kind of bizarro world we live in where up is down and black is white when Gizmodo is correcting the New York Times?
Yeah.
It just ain't right.
What you drinking?
You know what? I don't know if you get this in Canada. It's called Cascade Ice. It is a 0-calorie carbonated beverage. It's quite yummy.
In Canada? Where are you at?
Vancouver, you doofus.
That's not Canada?
I said I don't know if you. Oh, sorry. I don't know if you can get this in Nova Scotia. Is what I meant to say. Sorry.
Oh, did you secede this afternoon that I hadn't heard about yet?
Well, I do live in Surrey, so yeah, it's certainly a possibility. It is its own country. You were at. Now I don't know much about this. You were at. I saw a bunch of pictures on Twitter of you on stage at some sort of mobile conference. Did you crash that conference? Because you don't know shit about mobile.
Yeah, I know.
Why were you invited to this?
I don't know.
Did you pay your own way?
Did I what?
Did you pay your own way?
Why would I do that?
So they paid you to come down with your hairy self and stand on stage talk about something you don't know a damn thing about. I don't understand that. What was your topic?
Innovation in mobile.
See, well, this is what I'm saying. What the hell do you know about that?
I brought up sock puppets and everything, and
well, you brought your guitar, right? You brought your guitar.
No, this is the first conference I haven't played guitar in a while.
What conference did I see you were playing at? Oh, that was the Chicago one.
Yeah, Chicago.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I kind of mean that seriously. I didn't know you had any sort of expertise in mobile. I didn't realize you know anything about that kind of thing.
I know a thing or two.
I know you know a thing or two, but I mean, as a keynote speaker of a supposedly major conference,
I've been around for a long time.
Yes, but you haven't been mobile the entire time. All right, moving on. You were at the Apple announcements last week. There's been a lot of now. Nick Bilton aside, this wasn't boring, was it? Did you get a sense from the audience that they were fidgety or didn't enjoy themselves?
No, it was pretty fast-paced, really.
They jammed a lot of things into it. The only issue I had, and Alessandra and I talked about this last week, did the audience in the room notice, I don't want to say poorly, but there's no way I can describe it, how poorly Schiller and ADQ presented their information?
I don't really think so. I mean, I've heard that since I was out of there, and I don't think that was that evident. I mean, you could tell that there were a few mistakes through the presentation.
Sure.
But I don't think that it came through like that.
When we were watching the video, and especially Eddie came on stage, and for the first, I don't know, at least two or three. What the hell is that?
It's my microphone.
Oh, sorry. I only saw the bottom. I only saw the top of it. I didn't know what this blue thing was. It had a teddy bear there. And Eddie was obviously reading off the teleprompter, reading off the script for the first while. And Schiller stumbled, and I don't think it was that big a deal. To me, while I think part of it is that Apple has, and you and I have talked about this before, they've set such a high standard. You know, if these were the guys at Google, we'd all be going, "Oh, nice presentation, fantastic job." Yeah. But because it's Apple, and they've always been spot on and always been perfect. When it's a little bit off, we notice it more.
And who was it last year, like HTC or something, that the guy was joking about golden showers or something during his
no kidding.
At least we didn't go there. So
you're watching that and you go, what? What? Did he actually say that? So
Well,
they jammed a lot of things into it. Let's go from, for lack of a better term, least important to most important. The Mac Pro. Are you getting one?
yeah, I'd love to have a Mac Pro.
You say you'd love to, but will you get a Mac Pro?
Somebody took a picture.
Yes, someone did.
What the hell is that?
You were on public videos. People are allowed to take pictures of you.
All of a sudden, my screen blinked, and
Yep, mine too. Someone's gonna take a picture now, and someone's got to take a picture. Come on, it's a function of Google Hangouts. You can actually click on one of these little buttons here, and we'll take a picture. Whoever did it, do it. There we go.
Oh.
It was Sherry Keller.
why do they do that?
Because they want a picture of you.
Huh.
Dude, is technology befuddling you? Will you get a Mac Pro?
Yes.
Really? Okay, so you feel you're in the target. I mean, a lot of us would love to have one. Would love to be able to justify the $3,000 at least to buy one of these things. This is not, though. Yes, it is Apple's flagship machine, but they won't sell a whole bunch of these, will they?
Well, I don't even know if it's their flagship machine. Wouldn't the iMac be their flagship machine?
You think? Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I think of the Mac Pro as being the big iron of Apple products. That's the one they put the most. For example, I think it's the Mercedes S-Class, where all the best technology goes in the Mercedes S-Class, and it filters down.
Yeah.
So I think
Okay.
the Mac Pro is that too.
I think I am in the target market, but you know, I can do all of my music recording on a MacBook Pro.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's why I'm asking the question: is how are you justifying the expense of a Mac Pro?
Because Monique won't know.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Whatever you do, it's going to run it. Go ahead.
It's a very powerful machine, and you know, I'm going to need that in order to record my music.
The design of that thing, we said it at WWDC. We said it whenever they talked about it, is just spectacular, just unfreaking believable, isn't it?
Did you see that movie today? The making of it? Oh my God!
That's just as I've been describing it. That's just product porn.
Yeah,
that's just
I love it.
Absolutely gorgeous. Notice the website does that too. The website only has the iPad Air and the Mac. The iPad Air and the Mac Pro are the only ones that have that sort of product porn motion on the website.
No,
I think that shows how important Apple thinks these two products are.
Yeah, well, they've been accused of not caring about the pros.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I think this shows that they do care about the pros, because it's, you know, it's got to be one of the fastest PCs out there.
It's going to be interesting to see like Mac.
And it doesn't smell like cat pee like Dell's doing.
I saw that story.
You know, I chuckled when I saw that.
Oh yeah, no kidding, no kidding. So we'll move on. Any concerns the fact that there hasn't been an actual ship date for the Mac Pro for you?
No, they said it would be. Oh, look, I can change pictures.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Jim discovered the wonder of Google Hangouts. Mavericks is now free. A bunch of stuff is now free. Is this a big deal? Is this
Yes.
Will this drive market? Will this be important in a year from now, 2 years from now?
I don't know that it's about driving market. You know, Apple's driving the market with their hardware, and I think that they just make it a whole lot easier for people to be able to do things. I mean, you don't have to pay, you know, $200 for an operating system. You don't have to pay, you know, $100 for, Office. You know, they're giving you iWork for free, and they're giving you the operating system for free, and I can't look at you in the big screen. I got to look at myself. I just tried that, and you're freaking me out.
That's why I don't have you on a big screen, dude.
You know?
Hell no.
Why not?
That's far too much ugly for my
Try
screen.
Try it. Put me on the big screen.
No, I'm not putting you on the big
Come
screen.
on.
I'm not doing it.
Come on.
I've seen you in 3D. That's good enough.
Put me on the big screen.
I'm not putting you on the big screen.
Man. All right.
So,
I don't know if it's about market share. I think it was a wise thing for them to do, though.
I said this on Twitter. The question has always been, is Apple a hardware company or a software company? Does this prove that Apple's a hardware company?
No. No, I mean, they still make the software.
Sure.
They still
it's not a profit center anymore.
Well, it's not as much of a profit center, but come on. They make like, you know, $5 to $10 billion every 90 days.
Yeah.
You know, do they really need the extra, you know, million from software sales? No. But giving it away for free, that makes them look good too. Now, there's also the issue this time of iWork being, well, they say that they removed a bunch of features.
Yep.
From Pages and Keynote, and
yep.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't really notice because I'm not a power user in those situations. So, you know, with those apps, I use them after the event. I downloaded them, I used them, and you know, they work fine for me. They did everything I needed them to do, so it was great. But I know a lot of people are upset about it.
Basically, what Apple has done is iMovie and Final Cut Pro'd these apps, and that's what the power users are upset about. But if that's the case, I would tell the power users, Apple's put features back in over time. So yeah, I can understand why you're pissed now. The other thing is the old version of the app still run. They still work. Yeah. So you don't have to upgrade.
I think the important thing for Apple with these app releases was a consistent user experience.
Yeah.
It wasn't that they were free. It wasn't that, you know, the important thing is that an iPhone user that gets a Mac, you know, is going to be able to do the same thing.
Agreed. What was that? And what was next up? But the MacBook Pros, I ran out the next day as soon as they were available and got the 13-inch MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
Again, an evolutionary move, but I think a good one. I was surprised, and we'll talk more about this with the iPad Air, but holding my 15-inch MacBook Pro from 2 years ago, and the new MacBook Pro, I can't imagine how much lighter an Air is. If my MacBook 13-inch is this small and drives a 30-inch monitor, I've still got my Apple Cinema display here, and it's pushing pixels out through that too. These are great little machines.
Well, I'm using a 15 right now,
yep.
Talking to you, and it's a great machine. Now it's a bit heavier,
yep.
and a bit bigger, and I've been using a 13 so long that this 15 feels like a 17.
Yeah.
Remember that? I used to use a 17. I don't know how I did it. It's like carrying around a desktop.
That's right. It's a literal desktop.
Yeah. But now with this 15, it even feels a bit big.
Let's get to. We've got 15 minutes to go. Let's get to your iPad Air review.
Wait, I'm timed now?
Yeah. Well, we have another guest coming on after you, much more interesting.
Oh. Okay. Well, that's fine. You should have just said so.
I understand. I realize that you would understand that. Your iPad Air review seemed to be, from the comments on loopinsight.com, people were more concerned about your dog. What the hell's wrong with the readers of the Loop?
I don't know.
That whole thread was like, shut up!
They said that I was making up the story about right. Going to... why would I make up a story? I mean, come on. So, you know, the story, the way it happened is the way it happened.
Yeah.
You know, we went out, and why didn't we use Monique's phone? Because Monique left her phone at home. I posted all this in the forums, but people keep posting and don't read the comments. Monique left her phone at home. We took her iPad that only has Wi-Fi. My phone is an AT&T phone, and you have to call them to activate service, tethering. So I couldn't tether it. So we had one option, and that was to pull into Tim Hortons and get Wi-Fi. And then people say, well, that story's unrealistic. Well, what? How is that unrealistic?
Yeah, that's right.
It's what happened. I couldn't make up a story that dumb.
I think my favorite part of your iPad Air review, folks, go to loopinsight.com, do a search for review iPad Air. Was you thinking that Apple had pulled a fast one and that they were fake iPads on the desk because the thing was so light?
Well, here's the thing. You pick up an iPad, a regular fourth generation iPad, and it's kind of heavy, when you pick it up by the corner.
Yep.
This one was really light when you picked it up by the corner, and at first I thought, oh, we're Jungo.
So I'm
Shawn disappeared.
I'm still here. Don't do that.
Where'd you go?
I'm trying to get the loop up on the video.
Are you still in that little box?
Stop it.
So yeah, it was really that light that I mean, yeah, I didn't know, but they worked.
But it's kind of a funny thought that I can see you picking it up and going, where's the rest of it? Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like, I said in there, the first time you saw a Retina display, or the first time that you picked up one of the newer iPhones in comparison to the older ones, it's kind of a shock.
Yeah.
That it's there. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised because, to be honest, I was kind of worried when they put, just the word Air in there.
Yeah.
They have to live up to a lot by putting that word in.
You think it's a good name as opposed to the iPad 5 or the next iPad or the new iPad? You like the iPad Air name?
Sure. I mean, after handling it and using it, it works. The name works.
I actually don't care one way or the other. It doesn't work for me. Doesn't not work for me. Doesn't make a lot of difference. Do you agree with John Gruber when he says the name may point to an iPad Pro at some point in the future?
It could, yeah.
You think? See, I don't think it would.
But,
I don't think it will.
It could. It could. Yep. But now the question is, what would differentiate an Air from a Pro?
Exactly. Yeah.
And they've opened the door for some differentiation, whether it's just between the Mini and the Air, or an Air and a Pro. The door is open so they can take it however they want. Whether it will or not, we don't know.
But they don't. Yeah, you're right. They don't have to. They've got all kinds of wiggle room to not have to do it in any one particular way. They can decide that the next one will be called the iPad 6, the iPad 10.47. Yeah. It's up to Apple what they call these machines. I think that a lot of folks are reading too much into it when they think that there'll be a Pro version somewhere on the line. Some people are saying it'll be a 13-inch tablet, which is just freaking insane. That it will have more RAM or more storage or whatever. I don't think Apple's going to go that way. I don't think Apple needs to go that way.
Maybe it'll have USB and they can call it a Surface.
Because that's what the market really wants. USB connectivity. Oh, and Ethernet. Oh, yeah, put an Ethernet connection in there.
Did you see the battery thing today?
The iPhone. Some iPhones are running out of battery.
No. The Surface battery on Microsoft's website. It says Surface has you covered. 10 hours of battery life, and then in the text of it, it says up to 8 hours of battery life. Go to the Loop. I posted a picture of it.
I'll have to check that out. It's just ridiculous. Did you find it interesting, or do you find it interesting that Apple's made it very, very hard for the average person, and this is, I think, interesting, for the average person to choose between an iPad Air and an iPad Mini.
I don't
I think
think
a lot of folks have pointed this out, yourself included, along with Gruber and other people. There's not a lot of differentiation between the Mini and the Air. I find that really interesting.
No, I don't think it's a difficult choice.
Really.
I don't.
There's only a $100 price difference.
Yeah.
It's smaller, so therefore, in theory, more compact, has the same chip, has the same internals, has the same screen.
Okay, it's harder. No, I think the choice now, the choice before used to be about retina and non-retina, right? And size. But now they have shrunk it down a bit. Retina isn't an issue anymore. Power isn't an issue. I think the issue will be where you use it.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the differentiating factor now. Are you on the road a lot? Are you, hopping on planes and taxis and rental cars and you're going all over the place? Mini's probably the best bet.
Yeah.
Are you going to use it at home and, once in a while take it out to a coffee shop? And, an Air is probably the best bet for you. I think that's what's going to determine who buys what now.
It's definitely not a bad thing for your customers to have to decide between two of your own products.
Right.
It would be worse if people were trying to decide between the Dell version of this and an Air, or the compact version of this and a Mini. But they're pretty much all the reviews that we've seen from people are saying this is it. This is, if you want a tablet this Christmas, your only real choices, as long as you've got no serious hate on for Apple, is between an Air and a Mini. Do you agree?
Well, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I don't know how or why you would pick something else. Doesn't make any sense.
I can see a use case for other things, but I think they're very, very narrow. I think there is a use case for the Surface, but it's really, really small. It's not the vast majority of people on this, at least in the Western world. You need it for specific reasons. But if you're a general tablet user, no, there are no other choices.
What was that?
That was another guest. My next guest has now jumped into the chat room. Geez, you're nosy.
What, the more important one?
No, more interesting.
Oh,
no one's more important than you are, but lots of folks are more interesting.
No, that's true.
Tim Cook said on the conference call on Tuesday that this will be an iPad Christmas. I think he was talking about Apple. I don't think he was talking about consumers.
What?
Yeah, see, I love that face. Someone take a picture of that face right there. Tim Cook, remember Tim Cook said this will be an iPad Christmas, right?
Yeah.
He also said that they know how many iPads they can make over the next 3 months. He said they don't know how many they're going to sell. Right?
Okay.
I think it's very conceivable that Apple is going to sell every single iPad they make over the next 3 months.
Oh, yeah, I think so too.
What that's going to cause is backlog. It's going to cause some people not to get their iPad for Christmas, whether it be an Air or a Mini. Some people are going to be disappointed. So they won't have an iPad Christmas. But Apple sure as hell is going to have an iPad Christmas. That comment wasn't about the consumer. It was about how good Apple's Christmas season is going to be.
I think that it depends on, and we'll be able to tell by initial supply.
Yeah.
What the season's going to be like, but if they've been able to ramp up production, it's going to be quite a Christmas.
They sold, how many, was it 14.1? I may be pulling it out of my butt. 14.1 million iPads in the last quarter when most people knew new iPads were coming.
Right.
Who bought those things?
people that are not us.
Yeah, true.
General consumers. They buy things when they buy things. They don't follow it, so they don't know that a new one is coming, or really don't care.
But that being the case, I think we're going to see a lot of folks like me who have either the original iPad or an iPad 2 who are saying, this is the iPad I'm going to get. I've had my iPad for 3 years, for 2.5 years. That's that cycle that Apple's planning on and prepping for. I think this is going to be the biggest sales volume Apple's ever seen when it comes to iPads.
Unless you're that psycho woman at the New York Times.
He's just a freaking idiot. Hey, let's talk for the last couple of minutes about the Loop magazine. Congratulations, by the way, on version 2.0. You changed publishing platforms. Why?
I just wanted to do something a bit different. You know, I had talked to Chris Harris, who developed this app, about doing something for the Loop magazine, and you know, we talked one afternoon in London, drinking beer and talking about, you know, what we could do and how we would redo the Loop magazine, and he had some great ideas, so that's what we did.
The Loop magazine, folks, this is magazine issue 13. I've posted it in the RSC chat room. You can also go to the website loopinsight.com and do a search for the Loop magazine, or on the iTunes store you can get it. It's free, this issue. The 13th, the unlucky 13th issue is free, which is probably why, because it's the 13th issue. But you can download the app and the issue for free. You've got an article from Matthew Modine, sorry, What I Learned from Stanley Kubrick. How the hell did you get that? Do you know Matty? Is Matty a friend of yours?
Matty. It's a good article.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And he gave me some pictures from his personal archive of pictures. Those were all taken during the Full Metal Jacket shoot.
Yep.
So I thought it was great stuff.
I think even more interesting, no offense to Mr. Modine, the way the Loop magazine works, and it's tough to describe to someone who hasn't seen it. I was just showing off Apple's iPad Air site. It's kind of like that, but not like that. Did you come up with the interface with the way you move through articles, or was that a factor of the Glide publishing?
Yeah, that was Chris and Glide.
Yeah, I didn't think you were smart enough to come up with that.
You know, he had some the basis of the platform down, and it works. Glide works in different ways in different apps. So we discussed, you know, how I wanted it to work for a magazine, and you know, that's what he came up with. So I think he did a great job.
I agree.
Loved to write upon it, but you know, I can't.
Yeah, it was really interesting visual interface. It's not just a Kindle book that you flip. It is you're moving. It's very organic, but it's also very natural too, which I was really impressed with. That you didn't have to read instructions on how to. I don't know when Wired magazine first came out digital. It was like I had to go to the website to figure out how to find the rest of the frickin' articles.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you swiped up and over and down and double tapped. It was just stupid. But this new Loop magazine on the Glide platform, I think, is going to be, if nothing else, a huge success for Glide. You may never publish anything else, but Glide's going to be big.
You know, I think that I think when it came out, a lot of people were surprised, but yeah. I think for traditional publishers, it should give them cause to step back and take a look at what they're doing, because I think the majority of them are just publishing shit.
Well, do you think that's part of?
They have the articles are good, you know, and their topics, but I don't think the experience is good.
Do you think it's because you are not a traditional publisher? You personally are not a paper guy, that you've matured in the digital age. You haven't matured at all just by looking at you, but you've gotten used to that. Traditional publishers keep seeming to try to jam their paper product into my iPad, and they don't seem to succeed very, very well, as opposed to throwing away the paper product and starting from scratch and using the power of digital. They don't seem to be doing that, and you really have.
Well, I don't have any expectations.
No.
You know, so you know, I don't think, okay, we're publishing this, so the magazine should go scroll sideways on an iPad.
Yeah.
I think that we've already determined that, if you're going to scroll, you have your hand and your thumb and you're just pushing up, all the time. That's how we navigate through iPhone and iPad apps. It's just how we do it. So that's the way that we did this as well. And you can go from Article 1 all the way to the end of the magazine, that issue, just by scrolling up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You hit the bottom of an article and it scrolls up and goes to the next article. So it's very fluid while it's doing it. There's transitions and there's things going on so that you know what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed it. Folks, go to the iTunes store, do a search for the Loop magazine, or check it out on loopinsight.com. Jim also has his own podcast called Amplified. This week, Jim gets angry. No surprise to anyone who knows him. Check it out on the iTunes store. Amplified, the podcast. Jim Dalrymple, thanks for joining me in this Google Hangout test we did. Hopefully this works out and we can save this for posterity.
Are you going to keep using this?
Until Wirecast, we had a problem with the Wirecast is not available for Mavericks. It doesn't work under Mavericks. So I don't know if you ever watched the videos, but Wirecast allows me to do some really cool graphics and lower thirds and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I don't really care.
Okay, sorry. No, we'll continue using it for four button. Dick.
I forget what I was going to say.
Yeah, go away now.
Oh,
turn off your turn.
Added Google effects.
Yeah, that's the next guest, Seymour. I'm trying to get you off my camera so I can get Seymour on.
Hey, can I add Google effects?
Yeah, you can, but I'm not going to let you. Goodbye.
Come on.
No. Let me get a hold of. Where's Seymour? Seymour, help me out with this maniac. Go away, Jim.
Oh.
Oh, jeez. All right. Jim found the effect.
That was a good one.
Hey, actually, you know what? The effects work pretty good. I'm surprised at how good they are. There you go. Someone took a picture of Jim. Oh, my God. All right, Jim, go away now. Where's Seymour? Seymour, help me out. Oh, Seymour's doing it now, too. Oh, hang on, Seymour. Hang on. We have no audio from you. Seymour, is your mic on?
Hey.
There we go.
Oh, there I am.
It was off by default. Here's the thing. I don't know how I got the effects, and I don't know how to turn them off. There must be a button somewhere. Remove all effects.
Oh, my God. I'm dealing with children here.
I don't know what's going to be more shocking for the viewer, but there we go. Remove all effects.
You're a grown man, Seymour. Come on.
I'm sorry.
Folks, this is Seymour. Your last name, is it Segnit or Segnit?
Yeah, Segnit. Seymour Segnit.
Segnit. He is from the UK. Where in the UK are you from, Seymour?
I was born and raised in North London and lived there until about mid-30s, something like that. But I was my dad was from this region. I'm speaking to you from the Hudson Valley in New York, and my dad was raised.
Beautiful area.
My dad was raised in a little town here, so I'm sort of American. I have a sort of New York heritage, even though I didn't have much to do with it until halfway through my life. So yeah.
You were living in a beautiful part of the world. I used to ride my motorcycle up and down the Hudson Valley on a regular basis. Love the roads up there. Hawk's Nest, and there's a whole bunch of great motorcycle roads. So it's a beautiful spot.
It is, and never better than this time of year. The leaves, the colors of the leaves are just unimaginable, actually. And,
yeah, absolutely spectacular. I agree. Folks, go to Indiegogo.com, do a search for thingCharger. Now, as I've said, and I have completely admitted this to Seymour, I admitted to him earlier this afternoon, I absolutely detest Indiegogo and Kickstarter campaigns. Don't like them. Hate them. I've used them. Back in the early days, I bought the Glyph and I bought some other things, but they've just been a giant pain in the butt for me. I like products that I can buy right away, that I can tell the audience about right away. So if someone comes up with a product that makes me say, hey, I want to talk to them about it, and they're on an Indiegogo campaign, you got to know it's going to be something that's interesting, if nothing else. So hang on, folks. Listen to this for a second. This is one of the things that attracted me and why I'm talking to Seymour. Listen to this. Let me turn the volume up. That would help. Volume up. This is Seymour.
What if you could unplug your messy old chargers now and get a new charger for all your things? One that's almost invisible.
Now that really attracted me, Seymour. The idea of I have got, as the audience who's followed me on Twitter knows, just got an iPhone 5S. Love it. Fantastic. I got one lightning cable. I have 75,000 30-pin cables lying around here, but only one frickin' lightning cable.
Yep.
So I've been looking for solutions to this issue. How did you come up with the idea for the ThingCharger, Seymour?
You know what? It started. I think it probably started 30 years ago when we all started buying this stuff and we started accumulating all of these gadgets around our houses. I mean, I think we've probably all been struggling with the wires for a while. But the recent history was actually for Christmas. My wife gave me one of those, you know, those little solar panels.
Yeah.
It's like a solar panel. You could put it on your back or put it in the window, and it came with various tips so you could charge different devices. And it was very thoughtful. I mean, she chose a highly rated one and everything. And I realized after a few days that it wasn't ever going to really get used because we didn't go out hiking. And here in the house, it wasn't a very efficient way of charging things. But it got me interested in this puzzle that I think we're all trying to solve, which is, you know, in most households these days, there's 2 or 3 or 4 different devices, probably needing more than one type of charger. I mean, you just, as you said, you've got this mixture of 30 pins and one lightning. Yeah. But then you probably have a buddy who comes around who has a BlackBerry or someone else who's, you know, and I just wanted to get us set up so that we were well equipped to charge conveniently. I mean, that sounds so dull, doesn't it? To charge conveniently every day and to be able to look after our guests when they came. And it was almost impossible. And I bought all of these different things, and all of them made me crazy for one reason or another. Mm-hmm. And then one day I just thought, well, couldn't you just have something and you just plug it in and you pop the phone right on it? And just started playing with that idea and iterated it, and we came up with the thingCharger. And just a point of order, I've noticed that on audio-only connections, and I know this from speaking to people over the phone, they're not clear what the word is. So it's thing, as in anything, something. It's a ThingCharger for charging all your things. ThingCharger.
THING, not THINK. So ThingCharger is the Indiegogo campaign. Why Indiegogo? Well, why that route in general, and why that as opposed to Kickstarter?
You know what? I think, like, I'm setting aside your understandable concerns about the genre in general. I think it's this very interesting new wave. I mean, it is genuinely true that there's a whole new way for small businesses and ideas to get off the ground. Mm-hmm. And for a while, I worked in the seminar industry for a while a few years ago, and taught from the stage the notion that it's a great idea to see if you can sell something before you go about making it. The classic entrepreneur's folly is that they invent their new type of mop or their new whatever it is, their new widget, and they mortgage their house and they go out and they make 10,000 of them and they put them in the garage, and then they turn their attention to how to sell it. And very often they can't. And the most successful thing I've done, which is totally unrelated to this, was an audio program, actually for people with fears and phobias. That I came up with the idea of it 10 years ago, and publicized it on the web initially to see if anybody would buy it. Yeah. And after a week or so, quite a few people had expressed interest. So I knew that there was something there. So I really like the idea of market testing something. I think it's smart for any business of any size to find out whether you can sell something before you go to the expense of making it. And in our case, you know, we're of modest means, and this is actually quite an expensive project to get off the ground. So I thought, you know what, let's take it that route. Yeah.
You said to me this afternoon that you are not the typical Indiegogo Kickstarter person I thought of was this inveterate inventor that you've invented 1,000 things. Although someone has Mosquito pointed out that on the whiteboard behind you is a unified field theory. That's kind of interesting. I hadn't realized that.
It was actually my 6-year-old rustled that up after doing her homework the other night. It does look a bit like that, doesn't it? It does.
But you are not by nature an inventor kind of guy. How did you come up with the idea?
I mean, I haven't been an inventor who has been busy inventing. I think all of us, to some degree, most of us have got an idea for something, and I thought of that before they brought it out. So I think along with most people, I've got my collection of ideas of how things could be better, perhaps a little more vocally. And my wife will say, "Oh, you know, the thing about Seymour is 7 times a day he's saying what they should really do is this." Perhaps I'm a little more like that than most, but I haven't had a history of having things invented and patented and so on. This is the first time, and it's a pretty interesting process because this thing is extremely simple as a concept, as you will agree.
It's very simple, but it's also very clever. Another audio clip I got from your video. Listen to this.
ThingCharger was born of our own frustration. AIM! Did you move my charger?
I love that. How many times a day have I done that? And again, because I've only got one lightning connector, wander around this small apartment like, damn it, where's my frickin' charger? And you need more than one charger. I need one in the car for when we go in there. So I'd like to have a cable in there. I want a cable here by the computer. I want a cable in the bedroom. So now I'm just carrying this one frickin' cable around like it's like gold, hoping I don't lose this, because if I lose it, Apple's going to charge me $45. You don't even charge that much for the ThingCharger, for crying out loud. It's cheaper to buy a ThingCharger from you than it is to buy a damn lightning cable from Apple. That's insane.
I can't talk to Apple's pricing policies. Our pricing was just born of, I think you, I mean, if you're Apple, people come in with this, you know, they have an understanding of what the quality level might be, and they grind their teeth and they spend the $45 or the $30 or whatever it is. I just asked around at what price people felt this was a no-brainer purchase. In other words, I wanted to get the feeling for at what price is it just sort of close to zero resistance. You know, when you're buying something, there's a price at which it's like, oh my goodness, of course I would do that. And then there's a price at which you have to stop and think about it. And I wanted to get it at that point where people would just go, oh my god, that's fantastic, boom. And luckily, it seems that we're able to manufacture it cheaply enough to achieve that. Is it $29 is the number in question.
Well, it's not just that too. There's a price point issue for a lot of folks. For me, it's less about that than it is about the utility and the usability and the cleverness of it. For those folks who listen to the show for a while, you know, the nice folks at OWC sent me one of their OWC. I don't know what it's called, but it's a thing that gives you 2 USB ports in your electrical box, and that's great, except for the fact they want you to take apart your electrical box, rewire things, put it back in the wall, and now I've got 2 USB ports with 2 cables still hanging off the damn thing. That to me seemed to be the most idiotic idea for the average person. If you're a geek or an electrician, that'd be easy. So I kept looking around for something that was a lot simpler, and yours is the simplest one I've seen.
Yeah, I mean we on the at the Indiegogo campaign, we tried to cover all of the bases, and there's a sort of slightly tongue-in-cheek section which is called installation instructions. Please allow up to 5 seconds. You just plug it in the wall. That's all you have to do. Has I don't know for the folks who are in audio-only mode, I don't know how clear a picture they've got, but essentially what the ThingCharger is, if you know what a regular two-gang, what's called a twin outlet, a regular American twin outlet. So that's one outlet above the other. And essentially, ThingCharger looks like that from the front, and it has about 1 inch of thickness to it. So you put it in, and if you're looking at it from head on, well, I think one of the reasons people like it is that there's a sort of design subtlety to it, which is that it actually doesn't invade your space. You've already got an outlet on the wall. You plug this in, and it essentially looks the same from many angles. So you haven't really, you haven't really changed the layout, the design of your room in any way. But with this extra thickness of the inch, that's enough of a ledge onto which to mount an iPhone, an iPod, an iPad, in fact, as well. And it just has a little tip sticking out of the top.
Then the other clever part about it was that this isn't just an iPhone, an iPad charger, an Apple product charger. You have broadened your market by not only including tips, but very cleverly having the tips in the back, which I thought was just brilliant. I thought it was just the smartest thing, because I've got like I won't name the company, but you know how you buy those electrical outlets, those world outlet kind of things. So you go to Italy, you only need one plug, but you have this little bag of other plugs in your luggage that you're going to lose. So you're going to lose at least 2 or 3 of these things. But the ThingCharger, those additional plugs for no additional charge are in the back of the ThingCharger. Brilliant.
Yep. It was just one of those things where there was this simple idea, and we went, oh, it is sort of bit by bit. It was like, could we store the tips in the back? Yep. Yes, we could. And so we just, we just built out the idea. I think if you scroll down a little bit further down, there might even be a picture of that for the folks.
I will do that.
We've got video. So the idea is that the tips slip in and out of the top, so you can quickly switch over if you need to switch from your old phone to your new phone. Yeah, that picture has it there. You just go back up where it says yes. And I don't know how clearly you can see that, but basically that's the unit from the back, and it has 3 little bays with a nice little scoop to get your thumb in and out, so you can take these tips in and out. So hopefully they're always there when you need them. Yeah,
if you lose them now, it's your own damn fault. Yes. I have no sympathy for you now, because you've got the folks at ThingCharger have built it in where you guys can keep these together. Now, I will note that it does say Lightning is an optional extra. Lightning tips are an extra $5 US, is it?
You know, we're saying 9. I hope we can get that down later. Okay. The whole light. I mean, you've covered this extensively, I know. But the problem with Lightning is that there are all kinds of extra requirements from Apple to manufacture it properly, and the difficulty for us starting up is that it's an option. It has to be an optional extra because it's an extra cost, because otherwise they would all cost more. Yep. And then because it's an optional extra, when we get an order for one ThingCharger, that may or may not come with an order for a Lightning tip. And at the moment, it looks like about 5 or 6 Lightning tips for every ThingCharger in terms of the rate at which people are requesting it.
Really?
But we won't know the number. We won't know for a while. No. So $9 seemed to me to be a price that was manageable for people and wouldn't put us out of business. I always try to get that sweet spot where the customer's happy and so are we.
There are 2 concerns. One I'll echo from my friend Mo in the IRC chat room. The other one is this one, where you describe, your lovely wife Amy describes the power supply.
Right from the start, we knew precision manufacturing was critical. So way back in April, we chose an American specialist manufacturer that's made over 100 million power supplies for many of the top brands.
Now, if I'm going to stick a product into my electro outlet, it better not burn. It better not fry. It better not short itself out.
Sure.
And what you show in the video too, something again I think is very clever. You can mount multiple ThingChargers to each other. Isn't that going to put a strain on your electrical system?
You know what? That's a great question, and I've been a bit surprised by how common the question is.
No.
The short answer is no, because the amount of power that's drawn for charging something is really very, very small. So if you put 2 or 3 together, it's the same kind of draw as if you had a power strip with 2 or 3 conventional chargers in, and it's not very much. I mean, it's nothing. It's a little bit, but it's nothing compared to a heater or a refrigerator or a toaster or a kettle or any of those things. It's very, very, very small amounts of power. So that provided the thing is made properly,
yes,
that goes to one of the other things that takes a lot of time and a lot of money to, because you look when folks hear the podcast and go look at it, they'll be like, well, this thing's simple enough. Why do they need all this money? Yep. It's tens of thousands of dollars to get electrical certification, the UL certification that we talk about there, and the UL certification, it's not even a known amount of time. They take as long as they want to certify it. So it's typically 6 to 8 weeks, but it can double. I mean, it's a kind of crazy process, especially when you're coming to it new. But I want to make sure.
And these things will all be certified for UL and all the usual certification for any other electrical product, right?
Yes, absolutely. No, there are very, very strict standards, and that's why it takes a long time. And they will come back and ask you to shave 1/10 of a millimeter off of this, that, and the other to meet it. But it means that when the thing is made and manufactured to that standard, it's as safe as save us houses, I think the expression is.
Mo calls it one charger to rule them all.
God bless you, Mo.
He also says something that I have historically railed against, and please answer the question. I hate, or I have hated, clocks, alarm clocks. We've seen them quite often from folks at iHome and Belkin and those kinds of companies, where you'll put your iPhone into a dock on an alarm clock, and now in the morning when I'm dopey and sleepy, in order to be able to hit the snooze button, I've got to reach over and smack this thing. The only point of contact from my iPhone to these devices is that connector. And that always struck me as being a little flimsy. That's not something I want my iPad, the weight of my iPad, resting on or leaning on or pushing on. Do you have concerns about that? Is that something that you guys have thought about?
I think what. So first of all, again, I think it's a great question. I think it's a legitimate concern. In all of our testing, provided one is using it with a modicum of intelligence, it's fine. Yeah. If you stack we say 2 or 3 together. I wouldn't recommend any more than that. So you can make a little charging station where you can have, your iPad, your Kindle, and your iPhone all charging together. The iPad goes on the inside. Yeah. This is again a sort of a subtlety of the design. This thing by definition is plugged into a wall outlet, and all wall outlets have one thing in common: they have a
wall.
A wall, exactly. They have a wall. So the wall provides the place for the iPad to lean. It's very simple. So the iPad, it sits on top of the thingCharger. It's got rotational stability from sitting on top of the thingCharger, and then it leans gently against the wall. And when you first see it, it might give you pause for a moment. But we did this for months and months here before bringing it out, and it's been absolutely fantastic. The only challenge we have in our house is that it's an old house and doesn't have a terrific lot of outlets, and not all of them are perfectly positioned. My sense of the thingCharger is, what was it? Mo's quote was,
"One charger to rule them all."
But to rule them all. It's very kind of him to say that. When we were writing the publicity material for it, there's a temptation to write the kind of, this is the only one you'll ever need. Yeah. I think that would be dishonest. I think for a number of key places, it's the perfect one. Yeah. But it's not perfect for your car. The outlet in the hall is not perfect if you have a big dog that bounds around the whole time. But for certain outlets in your office, typically ones above the counter in the kitchen and so on, it's absolutely perfect.
I really like the design, the cleverness of it, again, with the tips in the back and then the stackability. But yeah, it is not the perfect charger. You're right, you can't use it in the car, but it's going to be a very, very flexible charger for a lot of different uses. I mean, I can already see where I'd have 3 just looking around where I am now for the convenience of being able to stack these things, especially with an iPad that I no longer need at my desk all day long. It'd be nice to have it charged. Right now, it's literally, my iPad right now is lying on the bedroom floor, plugged into the wall through the cable. That's not good, because I already stepped on it this morning. I don't want to step on my iPad. So this thing gets it off those kinds of danger zones. You guys, the Kickstarter campaign is fully funded. You guys are still looking for more dough. I love the deal that you've got. Let me play this clip from your wife of the deal that you guys are running.
Right now, for this Indiegogo campaign, we're giving away thousands of free thingChargers if you order 2 or more.
Order 2, get 1 free. Order 3, get 2 free. Order 5, get 5 free. It's a great deal.
I want to know who the person who's going to give you $10,000 to get their logo named on every single one.
Well, we don't know yet. It's very.
That would rock. If I had 10 large, Seymour, I'd have you put YML on every one of them.
We would be honored, and we might even cut you a deal for a couple of bucks less than that. I tell you that the business of the crowdfunding is truly fascinating, just as a process. I mean, I think anyone who's in business, it's worth looking at and studying, just because there's some really, really interesting dynamics at play. And when we were working out the pricing, one of the things that, I mean, as you've repeatedly been saying, you want, I want a couple in my office, and I want 3 in the kitchen, and so on. And we quickly spotted that there was this unusual, from a sort of product marketing point of view, it's very unusual to have a product that it's natural that a customer would want a whole bunch of them.
Sure.
I mean, eggs certainly, toilet rolls certainly, but chargers, who goes into the Apple store and buys 7 chargers? But as soon as you see the thing in use, it's kind of like, oh my goodness, I want 3 in the kitchen and 2 in each of the offices, and suddenly you're up to this number like 6 or 7. So we wanted to make it very appealing for people to fill the need that we had maybe demonstrated to them in the film. And as you know, there are economies of scale when people are ordering larger quantities and so on.
So you guys can order 3, get 2 for free. You can get if you order 4, you get 3 for free. If you order 5, you get 5 for free. And if you give them $500, you get 20 and a signed patent application. I want to give you $2,000 so I can come and vacation with you guys in the Hudson Valley.
You'll be very welcome to.
Because I've been there. It's lovely. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I want to try a long weekend with us and some fine home cooking, including one of Amy's Beyond Unbelievable cakes. So we have been remiss in pointing out one of the features of the ThingCharger. ArcSign in the IRC chat room points out. He asked the question, Shawn, will one plug be a USB port? Take it away, Seymour.
So on the top, so it's a USB charger, so it's charging at 5 volts, so it will charge any USB device on the planet. How is this so? Most of those devices will sit on top of it in the way that it was in the kind of the way that it was intended to be used. We have these interchangeable tips that go into the top. So that's how you handle most devices. Think of phones, tablets, and readers as being the main candidates for that. But on the bottom, underneath, on the kind of the lower ledge along here, these are just.
Oh, there's one.
This is a very, very, very rough prototype.
Okay.
made here in the basement. But we're going to have a couple of USB outlets on the bottom there, so you can, in an emergency, you can go back to the bad old days and have wires sprouting out all over the place.
USB 2, USB 3, USB 1. What version will it be?
It's just 5 point. It's just 5 volts. It kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah, ArcSign asks how much juice goes to USB ports versus the plug. Is there enough to charge an iPad on top and one via USB?
Yeah, it'll be 2.1 amps, which is sufficient to charge an iPad at full power, as it were. If you then start using the USB outlets as well, there will be a little bit of a dilution. But I want to stress that's not the intended use of it. The intention of this is that it's a cool way of charging a device, and if you want to charge 2 devices, then you plug 2 together. That's how we envisage it being used. If you want to plug in the bottom, we thought that's a feature some people would want, and it would help to make it easier to sell, frankly.
Sure.
But that's not the intention. So we're not putting lots of extra power into it, so you get 3 great outlets. It's really for 1 device at a time.
But it would certainly be enough to plug in 3 devices, maybe 2 in the USB port, and charge them overnight.
Sure.
Before you go to bed, you put them on the dining room table or the kitchen table, and the next morning you come back and everything's fully charged.
Yeah, in normal use that'd be fine. If you've got 3 exhausted iPads, probably not the way to go. But with 3 regular devices, yeah, you'd be fine.
Folks, I've been talking to Seymour Segnit. His Indiegogo campaign, Indiegogo, I-N-D-I-E, GoGo, G-O-G-O.com, is the ThingCharger. Now, I said this off the top in the pre-show. Seymour wanted to give me money for every person who signed up or who bought one of these things. I said no. I don't like those kind of subscription-based services. But that being said, I would encourage you guys, hugely encourage you guys, to go to the Indiegogo campaign for Seymour's ThingCharger and buy 2 or 3 of these things. They are really cool looking. Watch the video. Watch the setup that Seymour has put up. And again, as I said before to the audience, I absolutely, utterly hate Indiegogo campaigns. I hate Kickstarter campaigns. I want to make that perfectly clear, Seymour. And yet, sight unseen, I think this is a very, very cool product that can be very, very useful to a lot of people in our audience. So definitely, folks, go to Indiegogo.com, do a search for ThingCharger. You don't have to tell Seymour that you bought it because you heard about it from me. Just buy 3 or 4 of these things. Get some of these for your house. Get some of these as Seymour said, for Christmas gifts for the geek in your life. I'm sure every geek would love to have these things. So this is something I think, hopefully, Seymour. When is the campaign's over in 16 days? When do you anticipate?
It's got another 16 days to run. I believe there's an appeal process where, if it's going well, you can sometimes extend it. So we may look at that closer to the time. And it's going to take a little while to ship. It will be the promise of a ThingCharger for the geek in your life at Christmas, rather than it's going to take a little longer than that to ship them. And there was just
fair enough. I don't want people to expect to see one at Christmas time. You're looking at what, next March?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. We're hoping. We're saying and hoping for Q1 next year. But just, I mean, to look on, to just review for folks who aren't so familiar with the whole Kickstarter Indiegogo thing. The point about this is, if you like it and you think if you like something on Indiegogo or Kickstarter, all kinds of projects on there. Please check out other things while they're there. And there's people in desperate need of help, and there's people with incredible art projects, all kinds of amazing things there. We feel privileged to be amongst many of them. But it is the structure of it is that you're seeing something that you think that you like, and you're contributing to make it happen. It actually, you use the word buy, and it isn't technically a purchase arrangement. Yep. What it is you contribute to the campaign with the promise from us that when it takes off, we will ship to you the product of your largesse, of your generosity. Your generosity will make this possible, and we will thank you. We will thank you with that. And I was just going. May I make one?
Sure, please. Yes.
There are a couple of things. One is, because the whole crowdfunding thing is kind of interesting to a lot of people, we're saying at no cost, anybody who wants to can sort of be, we're calling it a ThingCharger insider. So we're going to start telling people how we're doing it in case they're interested. Now, how did we put the movie together? How do we do the pricing structure? How did we do the initial publicity? What did we do when it started to sag? And just kind of open it up for folks who are interested in that. And I suspect that one or two who are listening would be. The other thing is, if $29 is too rich for your blood, then you can. We do have a program, we call it Thank You for Sharing, where if people like it and tell their, and we can give them a special link, and they tell their friends, and if their friends wind up contributing, then we'll ship them one for free. So that's.
I think the point you made is a very good one. That this is more of a it's not a buy so much as I believe in this project and I want to help you make this dream come true. That at the end of it, hopefully you will get a product, something tangible, but as you said, some of it's art, some of it's non-tangible stuff. But that's a better way of thinking and talking about Indiegogo and Kickstarters, that we are trying to help you make this dream that you believe in, and that to a certain degree we believe in too. The other thing I want to make clear to folks is the price that you see now, I'm not putting words into Seymour's mouth, I can almost guarantee you the price will go up once the campaign is over. That's generally what happens with these products. So you'll get a deal on a product now for $30 or for $58, but this thing might go up to $50 a pop once this thing goes as a full-blown campaign. So if you like the idea, if you believe in what Seymour is trying to do, and you like Seymour, you like me, you like all this stuff, and there's no reason not to like all of those things, yeah, go ahead. Go to Indiegogo.com, do a search for ThingCharger.
If you like any of those things, we'd like
any one of those things.
I think the chances of someone liking it and you and me and the dog getting all of those might narrow it a little bit. But if we do it as an or instead of an and condition, yes, please go right ahead.
Thank you for the correction, folks. I've been talking to Seymour Segnit of ThingCharger. Again, Indiegogo.com. Check it out, ThingCharger. Also go to the website, yourmaclifeshow.com. We've got it linked right there up on the top of the page. You can get to it even faster. Seymour, I wish you great success, huge luck with getting this off the ground, and really looking forward to seeing how this moves forward and getting a ThingCharger of my own. Thank you very much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
God bless you, Shawn. Thanks so much. Have a great show.
Have a great night. Bye-bye. I don't know how to hang up from Seymour. So maybe I just boot him. Maybe I just mute him, and then he leaves on his own. You muted Seymour Segnit. Okay, there we go. Seymour, you don't got to hang around. Go away. Goodbye. Now, next up, we've got the who's been sitting there, lovely as always, patiently waiting. Sorry, I want you to say this because it sounds better when you say it. We're doing what are we doing right now?
we are doing a comparison. Between our.
You have, in fact, made that word up, haven't you? Is that an Italian word, or is that a word that you just made up?
Well, it's the word that inside my brain feels like the best description of what we are doing.
All right, fair enough. A comparison of two products that we both really like. The TwelveSouth BookBook for the iPhone and the Pad and Quill Luxury Book for the iPhone. These are wallet cases for your iPhone. The idea is you put your iPhone in them, you put your credit card in them, you put some papers in them, you put some money in them, and you've got, rather than carrying around an iPhone in a case and a wallet, you've got both. Now, the first thing I will say is the downside is, as I found out at my motorcycle accident on the 31st of August, putting everything in one case allows you to lose all of it at the same time. The idiots at the Alberta Ambulance Service somehow managed to get my iPhone out of my BookBook case, but then lose the BookBook case. Driver license, credit card, Alberta healthcare card, $100, gone. So this is why I'm not always a huge fan of these kind of wallet cases. So now that being said, Alessandra has, and you've had the BookBook case for how long?
Over 3 months.
Over 3 months.
Oh yeah.
That's right, because we got them in
yeah, we were
in Alberta.
In Alberta. Yeah.
What do you like about your? Sorry, no. Let's do this. You're always supposed to say like last. What do you don't like about your BookBook case?
There's nothing I don't like about it.
Not a thing?
No, it's the perfect case for me, especially because it looks like an old book, and you know how much I like old stuff, and I even have a collection of old books in Italy. Some are tiny as this one.
Really?
So the same thing, but these contain technology, so the two things I like are together. And it's lovely, so beautiful.
No, hang on. We're talking about the things we don't like. So just a second. Now, the thing I don't like about the original BookBook that I had for the 4S is, in order to take a photo, you've got to show the audience.
I know there is no part here for the camera, but I don't take many pictures with my iPhone because I have a camera, which is an old camera, of course, because I like old stuff. And it's very easy to take off the phone. There is this little tag to pull, and then I push up the phone, and I can take the picture. It's so simple, it's not a problem for me. So.
The other thing that is less of something I don't like, and something that looks just a little bit goofy, is when you talk on the phone. Show the audience you talking on the phone. No, that's not what you do. You don't you? Yeah, exactly.
Because I have my daughter's picture here,
and
I want to see.
So that's what happens. I'll be sitting around the apartment, and I'll look up, and there she's holding a book to her face. Like, why is she holding a book? Oh, she's on the phone. Oh, she's not holding a book. She's on the phone. So.
Because I'm not using the wallet part as a wallet. I have a very big wallet full of cards and stuff, so it's very big. It's half my purse. So I just use this part for my daughter's picture and a few paper notes I need, and so they are very handy when I have to read them, and so I like this feature too.
The IRC chat room, Sherry says, where is it? Alessandra likes old things. There's a joke in there involving Shawn.
If you are a thing, yes.
How do I boot Sherry out of Google? Now, the other thing I don't like about the Pad and Quill case in particular is this strap. It's kind of neat. It's good in some ways in the sense that it keeps the Pad and Quill case slammed shut. And the reason why I don't like it is entirely due to me. It has nothing to do with the actual rubber strap. There is a concern that this will someday come off, but it's unlikely because Pad and Quill makes very, very good things. For me, here it is. When I grab the strap and put it over, it doesn't always, see if I can show this on video, it doesn't always lie flat. And for some reason, because I may be a little OCD and anal about this, that really ticks me off, that the strap doesn't lie flat. So I can't show this. When it gets pulled. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So I end up having to fiddle with the strap, as I'm doing now. And it's hard to fiddle when you've got one arm in a cast, fiddle with the strap to get it to lie flat, as I have almost, wait, just done. See, that's how long it takes. It's just annoying. But again, that's just me. Some people may not mind it. The other thing is, I have, as Alessandra pointed out, she has a little tag on her BookBook, and I have one too. And my tag does absolutely nothing.
Just a decoration.
I don't understand. Why is it there?
It's like an old bookmark. It really looked like an old book where you had all fabric.
Okay.
Bookmarks.
All right.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't do anything. Mine is there, but it's useful because I can pull out my phone from there. So.
But don't usually bookmarks go on the top of a book?
Well, they are attached on one side and they exit from the other side. So that looks like one of those old.
I see what you're saying. Oh, okay. So there'll be a ribbon all the way through it.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like one of those.
But
it's a nice
it's useless.
decoration.
No, I disagree. By the way, where's my phone?
Oh.
Crap!
So now you have all your cards, but you don't have the phone.
It's in the bedroom. Can you run it?
You need it?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll wait. There she goes, toddling off. Do. What are folks in the RC chat? I'm saying, we love you, you big doofus. Sherry's got the stink eye. Pad and Quill case looks great. I wish it could function better as a low-capacity wallet. Thank you very much.
There we go.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, Mo. Hang on a second. The other thing I don't like about the Pad and Quill case is, and this is not the use case, the folks at Pad and Quill are going to probably rightly say, well, we don't expect you to do this. To get the iPad out, show the iPhone out, show the audience how easy it is to get your phone out of your BookBook case.
I just pull the tab here. Yeah. I just push a little bit from the bottom, and it's coming out very quickly.
Now, for me, this is what I've got to do to get the Pad and Quill case out. I've got to reach into the side here and literally dig a fingernail underneath and apply quite a bit of pressure, which is good because it means the thing isn't going to fall out. But apply quite a bit of pull and pressure to get the iPhone to come out of the case. That's a good thing. It's annoying, but it's a good thing. You don't want your iPhone to fall out of the case if it's being held upside down. So I will admit those are minor things. None of those things would stop me from buying the Pad and Quill case. But where'd it go?
Oh yeah.
Now, even you have to admit
that's awesome.
That when it comes to good things, the BookBook folks, sorry, the Pad and Quill folks have your TwelveSouth people beat.
Well, I forgot what the package was. I don't have it with me, but it was not.
Did you keep it?
That beautiful. No.
Yeah.
It's probably still in the other house. I don't know. In the move, I misplaced it.
No, what I'm saying is it wasn't of enough value to
No, it was not.
Okay.
But this, I would have
First
kept
of all,
it.
It comes in the Pad and Quill case, P&Q, padandquill.com is the website. Making the case for books, it says. Now, I know the text is backwards, and it looks like there's a book inside of here. Okay?
Yeah.
So you open this up, and there's the usual packaging inside. But then, the Pad and Quill case actually comes
that is awesome.
in this gorgeous envelope that's got the sealing wax on it.
Yeah, Ceralacca. I love it. Ceralacca. That's the Italian name for sealing wax.
Oh, okay.
I love it. It's so nice.
I thought it was
want one.
Such a wonderful, clever touch, ingenious. Obviously, recycled paper, high quality, good feeling paper. And this is a minor thing, but both and I know TwelveSouth stuff is packaged very well too. Both of these companies have taken their cues from Apple in packaging things in a very pleasing kind of way. They do it in a different kind of way, each of them, but they all do it in a pleasing kind of way. I didn't realize this was stuff. There's writing in here.
Oh.
This is signed by Brian and Kathy, Mr. and Mrs. PQ. I didn't realize that. And what does it say?
Wow.
I don't want to rip this up to see what it says
inside.
No,
don't ruin it.
What does it say inside? Can you read what it says inside?
No.
I don't want to open up the rest of it to see what it says. But there's text in there.
It says, "We were hoping you were going to open this. it was getting stuff in here. So it's the case talking to you.
That's very clever.
Yeah.
So those are the things I don't like about it. The packaging of both companies, the TwelveSouth and the Pad Quill. I think the Pad Quill packaging is aesthetically more pleasing. It's more fun, not necessarily better. How does your BookBook case feel? The leather of it. Both cases are high quality.
It's fantastic, and you know I'm vegetarian, so I don't use much leather. But this is so awesome that I love it. So yeah, it's very nice.
You didn't like
No, yours
leather
is
on
not
mine.
as soft as mine.
Okay, it's not as soft, but would you say that the quality of the leather is any worse?
I think this one is better quality, and also it's stays closed well. I don't need that rubber band you don't like. It just stays. It's perfect.
Okay. I will give you the fact that your BookBook case, the leather is smoother. Mine is it's got a bit of a pebbly grain to it.
Yeah.
So I don't think one's better than the other. I think
well, if you touch this one, it's nicer on your fingers.
No.
You feel a nicer thing.
What I'm saying is it's a different style of leather.
Oh, yeah.
Not that it's better leather.
Okay. So maybe this is my style. Totally.
But now the other downside is you've had your BookBook for about 3 months. So it started to wear quite nicely. Can you show the audience the spine?
Yeah, it looks more like an old book, so I like it even better.
And I've got to assume that the Pad and Quill case is going to wear in a similar kind of way along its spine as it. All right, you're done. Along its spine
I'm so proud of it.
You are. Along its spine as it gets worn too, because they're both leather. So
yes. So it's the same thing. Yeah.
Now, you said you don't use yours as a full-scale wallet.
No, I have too many things in my wallet. It's impossible.
You have things left over from Italy.
Oh, yeah. I still have all my cards from the stores where I had the discounts there. And I keep them because if we go on holiday, we'll use them. We buy mozzarella in big stocks.
The websites, by the way, TwelveSouth.com and padandquill.com. But I want to use, I had the same problem with the BookBook. I want to use this as a full wallet, except that there's a little bit of space in here for money. You've got to kind of stuff it in there. Yeah. The credit card slot is, I shouldn't show my credit card number. Let me just turn this thing around. Some geek will use it. I've lost enough credit cards. The credit card slot is fine. But there's not enough space for several of these cards. Basically, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we have more than those.
I often want to carry business cards in one of these slots too, so that's a bit of a problem. If you've got minimal wallet needs, if you've got a thin wallet, this would probably be just fine for you. But if you're a typical guy with a typical guy's wallet or a woman with a typical woman's wallet, these things may not be the best choice for you in general. But that being said, you seem to get by okay with your BookBook wallet and your big fat girl wallet.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. I still have a huge purse where I put everything. So I'm fine with it. And as I was saying, I put my notes, my paper notes, or the last things that I have, and then I file them when I come home. And
wait, you put what?
The cards, the last things.
You said paper notes.
Yeah, also, because I love paper. And so I still use paper. I don't use the phone to write things. I write them on paper.
So you're telling me that you use paper notes and put them right next to your $400 computing device?
Yeah, that's what I do. I love paper. Paper feels so good, especially having a leather old book. I want to put paper notes in it and smell the paper with the leather like it was in the old times.
Why wouldn't you use the $400 computing device to save the notes?
Because I like paper and I like to write on paper. I like the feeling, the touching.
Yeah, as Mosquito says, head desk moment. Yeah, it's true. It's so fun. And the other thing that cracks me up, I think we may have mentioned this before, you write all your notes in Italian, don't you?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Which is, it's not surprising, but I just find it really amusing. I've seen them all over the desk, all over the kitchen table, and I'll walk over and go, and I'll rub my eyes because I don't understand the words.
You cannot...
Oh, she wrote them all in Italian. Oh.
Yeah. When I think or I dream, I'm still in Italian.
No. The other thing I love about the Pad and Quill case is the outside, the thing that your iPhone goes into. This is I think if they're still using it, Russian birch on the outside, handmade. But the design was the woodworking was handmade in the United States in, I believe Minneapolis. It holds the iPhone really, really firmly. I mean, it's not coming out of there. It feels very nice. It's very smooth. They've done a wonderful job of this. Your ports are easily accessible. For the most part, I find it's a little bit annoying at times to get to the... I'm one of those people that turns off my iPhone. I'll use the iPhone and then turn it off immediately. Other folks will let the iPhone go to sleep, but for me, I always turn it off. So I find myself pushing the top of this thing, and it's it's a fingernail type thing. It's not a big issue. Ports on the bottom are also easy to get to on the BookBook. Sorry, on the Pad and Quill case. The only downside is because it's in a hard case, not a hard case, but a wooden case, I'm more worried about sitting on my Pad and Quill case and breaking that wood than I was in the BookBook. Less worried about sitting and breaking the iPhone, if only because I'm not going to sit that hard. When you sit down, and I'll realize, as I'm starting to put pressure on it, there's the iPhone back there. I'll pull it out. But I don't know if the wood can take as much of the pressure as the BookBook case. Your BookBook case, how is your iPhone held in on the BookBook? And this is the BookBook case for the iPhone 4S, by the way, folks.
It's perfectly in place.
No.
It never fell outside, and it's perfect. And I never sit on my phone, so I don't have that issue.
Your pants are too tight. You can't even put your phone in there. Not complaining. Not saying this is a bad thing. Just making a comment. That being said, I don't think your iPhone holder bit is any more or less secure than what I found in the Pad and Quill case. I think they both hold the phone very, very well.
Yeah, and I never broke a nail in pulling it out, so that's good.
Showing off now. What else, Jill? Is there anything else you want to talk about that you like?
No, I just love it. It's my ideal case. I will never change it forever, so it will be getting old with me.
I would not recommend either one of them. If someone said to me, I like the BookBook, should I get it? I'd say yes. Someone said the Pad and Quill case, should I get it? I'd say yes. That being said, I kind of like the Pad and Quill case more, if only for the wood, than the BookBook case. I understand what you're saying about the leather. This leather is more of a pebbly feeling. I don't mind it, but your leather definitely is softer.
Oh yeah.
No doubt about that. It is softer. But I don't know why, I love this wooden feel of the Pad and Quill case. I prefer that much more. If I had to choose, I'd pick the Pad and Quill case solely for the wooden part of it, even with the annoyance of it as I'm doing it right now, trying to get the iPad out. The wood in there, for whatever reason, makes me like the Pad and Quill case more than the BookBook case. That being said, both of them are great cases. You're not going to go wrong with either case. Padandquill.com is the website. TwelveSouth.com is the website. So try out either one of those. How you doing?
Good. You?
Did you have a good show?
Yeah.
You feel good about your comparison? Is there anything else you wanted to say about your comparison?
No, I think it's
we were actually sitting in the pub on Sunday arguing about this, and I thought, hey, we should stop arguing about this in the pub and to adjourn the show. So hopefully the audience liked the comparation. If you'd like to see more comparations, let us know. Send us email to Shawn@yourmaclifeshow.com with comparation ideas. I don't know if we're able to do it, but I've been having... on next week's show, we are going to have Alessandra discovered a service that she asked me questions about.
Oh, yeah.
What was the service?
The Dropbox.
Dropbox.
Yes.
And it turns out you kind of like Dropbox.
Oh, yeah. I started using it, and I really like it.
So in a couple of weeks, we're going to have a review of Dropbox. Yeah. We're also in a couple of weeks going to have a review of the OloClip. The nice folks at oloclip.com sent us OloClip lenses for the iPhone 5 and the iPhone 4S. Give us some time to take some pictures and play around with those. On next week's show, though, we have got... I'm trying to remember if we're allowed to do... You
maybe not.
This is the first time you've ever been under embargo.
Yeah, I'm worried I must say the wrong thing, so I'm not talking. It's a surprise.
we got a product that's very, very cool. We'll talk about next week's show.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm not personally sure how to use it. You'll understand when we talk about it on the show. But we're under embargo until next Wednesday. But on Wednesday night's show, we're going to talk about this new product and give you guys our opinion about the new product. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we need to do before we sign off. Do you have any presents?
That's it. No present this time, and I will work on that because I really like to give out presents.
Well, this went well, folks. Let me know how you think. What do you think about this Google Hangout thing? I don't want to say we'll continue to use it, if only because Wirecast allows me to do a lot more with video, with side-by-side video, with text on the video. I don't mind the Google Hangout. I actually don't mind this at all. If you like what we do, as always, please let us know. Give me email. Send me email to Shawn@yourmaclifeshow.com. Or you can show your appreciation to Alessandra, to me, to us, by subscribing to Your Mac Life. Go to the website at yourmaclifeshow.com. On the left-hand side, there is the buttons for PayPal. You can donate, subscribe for $2, $5, $10, $15, whatever you'd like to do via PayPal. Money comes to us, and we use it to buy cool stuff. So it's easy enough to do. Folks, I want to say thanks very much for joining us. As always, I've been Shawn King.
And this was Alessandra.
And you've been listening to Your Mac Life. Thanks for joining us. See ya!
Ciao!